What is up, everybody? I am George Mossey. I am here with my co-host, Cherona. This is the George Mossey Show. So I don't know if you watched Darcey and Stacey season 4, episode 2, but we did. And we have some things to talk about because Darcey is dating men her age. And I don't know if you know, but that is not something that Darcey does. So we need to discuss this. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I had a prediction on the last podcast when we met Mike. And I was like, I don't know if Darcey is going to be able to date a guy her age because I feel like guys her age aren't her type. And I don't mean that in like a mean way or a weird way, but Darcey is very young at heart. And we were watching that when she was getting ready for her date, when Annika and Aspen were like, our mom doesn't dress her age and she's super extra and she like sprays so much stuff everywhere and we're like we don't know what to do with her because she's she's super young and she just likes to have fun and she likes to look beautiful. So she goes on this date with Mike, and first of all, I thought that Mike was really nice. I want to start off with that because we're going to get into some creepy territory later. So I want to start off with I thought Mike was really nice. He took her to this really nice restaurant, very expensive. He said over $500, and they literally pour chocolate on your hands and you lick it off, which I wouldn't do. First of all, I'm not a dirty person. So like don't be pouring food on me. Like
No.
I would have to go and leave and take a shower right away. So don't do that. But Darcey was a good sport. She tried to enjoy herself, but right when he started talking, she then immediately realized she did not care for Mike. Like he
Mhm.
was really boring and he was really weird. And he has like these weird things that he says are like really wisdom quotes, like things that you would get like on your daily calendar. He like starts talking and Darcey's like, see, this is why I don't date men my age. You know, like this is
Ugh.
exactly what this is the problem. This is why I can't, because she was like, everything about him is great up until he starts talking.
Yes. Oh God. That day was just kind of like I respect that it was like a really nice fine dining restaurant because of course Darcey likes that. She has great taste. But he's so boring. Like, shut up. Just let her talk. Ask her a question about herself. Like, don't just talk about yourself. You can read her face. Like, she's not into it. She's like, can I speak? Can I talk? I mean, I also didn't like, and Darcey didn't really like it either when he was like, "Oh, I already ordered for you." I mean, I guess it was like a course thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. She didn't even get to see the menu, and then they're just pouring chocolate all over her. Like, I don't know.
So when she had to get rid of Mike, she had to, well, she would have rather ghosted him, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, Mike is close friends with her close friend Leslie. So you can't ghost
Mhm.
this guy because he's part of the circle. He might be on your next yacht party. So she had to have this really awkward conversation over the phone. And every time she tried to break it off with him, he would compliment her, which I
Uh-huh.
felt bad. I was like, see, this is why people ghost people because he's making this super difficult. He's like, hello, beautiful. I'm so happy you. And she's like, look, I don't even like you. Like, chill. Like, it was so awkward. So I'm happy for her for not ghosting him. That's what makes you an adult, Darcey. So you are an adult, even though you're probably like
Mhm.
15 in your mind. You are an adult. You made that phone call. You dealt with that crazy awkward silence on the phone, and I'm proud of you for that. But you are free from him now and his 75 paragraph text messages. You are free. I am happy that you are free.
Okay, can I just say one thing though? I
Yeah.
kind of still don't feel like he got it.
Yeah, I feel like so yeah, when I was watching it,
Oh,
when
I
she
don't feel
hung
like
up
he
the
got
phone, I said,
it.
Darcey, hit block because he's
Yes.
gonna text you again. That's the first thing I said. I was like, okay, now that you hung up, hit block. It's not over. He's not gonna get it. You're gonna
He's
have
not.
to block his number because he's just not. I feel like he doesn't listen. He has his
No.
own like agenda in his head because she'll
Yes.
say something and he'll say something completely different. So it's like,
Yes.
block this guy. All right, so
He
I want to talk about Florian taking Stacey wedding venue shopping, right? So apparently Florian is hooked on the idea of getting married in Miami, which unfortunately that changed because that was actually Stacey's dream last season. But now that they
Mhm.
live there, it's not so cool. It's like when you go to Disney World, but then you move to Orlando and you're like, I don't want to go to Disney World. Why? So he takes her to these venues and he takes her first to a public park where there's like a herd of birds like flying very low, and like there's people everywhere, and I'm pretty sure I saw a homeless person in the background. I can't prove that, but I'm
Oh.
pretty sure I did. And then after that, after Stacey was like, yeah, no, this isn't happening. You're not marrying me. He takes her to the pier and he's like, well, there's a gate. We can close the gate at the pier. So apparently, Florian is on a budget, and that budget is $0. He's looking for something that he can rent for no money. And the root of the problem from Stacey's mouth is Florian needs to get a job. It's been over a year since he's gotten his green card, and he hasn't looked for one. And that makes me wonder, what's going on with that? Because Florian is clearly a model. He's done modeling work. So it's not like he's going to have to go get a job at the Nordstrom. You know, like he's going to be able to do something fun, cool, and interesting. So what do you think is holding Florian back from going to work?
I think he's just really comfortable. I think that Stacey has given him amazing life, and he's so comfortable with that he's probably not ready to like adult yet. I don't know. Like he's just got so comfortable not being able to work that now that he has to work, he's kind of like, I feel like he's kind of like, do I have to? I don't really want to. But I'm really glad that Stacey's like, no, you need to get a job. Like he does, because my girl's not getting married in no park or on no pier. This girl needs a fabulous venue. Like, come on.
I thought a yacht wedding would be nice,
Ooh, yeah.
right? Like on a big, huge, long yacht, you know?
Yeah.
Those aren't cheap, Florian. You cannot rent those for $0. You're gonna have to get a job. And I don't know if Michael Benz is gonna be able to convince him, because in the preview, we saw Michael Benz having a conversation with Florian, and Florian was basically going to beat the hell out of him. So I don't know if that's gonna work, because we saw Michael Benz have a conversation with the boys last season. Didn't go well either. It almost ended in a fist fight. Georgie wasn't having it. Florian definitely wasn't having it. So what do you think it's gonna take to get Florian to work? Because it's interesting, because last season we focused a lot on Georgie not having a job, and it's like now we're switching gears to Florian, and I didn't even see Florian as the type to want to sit around all day. He seems like, I thought, a driven guy. He was always doing different modeling work. He was always there with Stacey wherever she was working, whatever she was working on, he was there with her. So I'm confused. Literally, I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm pretty confused too, because same thing. I thought he was way more driven than he is. And I really don't like the fact that he's not doing anything, because Stacey's contributing everything. She's paying for them to live in Miami. Then they sold
Which
their home
is
in Connecticut.
hella expensive.
Exactly. And she's running a business, and now they need to get married. Like, he needs to get on it. Come on, Florian. I think Michael Benz has great intentions, but I feel like you said, I feel like it's not going to end well.
No.
But he's looking out for his friends. Like, those are two of his best friends. I would do the same thing. Like, you have to stand up for your friends, because Florian's just not going to get it. He needs a little push, but I just don't know where that's going to push him is the thing that scares me.
The twins told us that they have an opportunity to work with Johnny Mac. So Darcey reached out to Johnny Mac. For anyone who doesn't know who Johnny Mac is, he owns Impossible Kicks. So if you like tennis shoes, you know who Johnny Mac is. And he has offered them a presentation to collaborate with him, which would be huge. Not only would it put House of 11 in stores, it would put House of 11 on the map. Literally, this would be huge for the girls. So if you remember, they were having a fighting last episode and they were going through it. So they're kind of putting their issues aside and they're just working more on the business, because as you know, this company was started for their brother Michael, who unfortunately passed away from a rare form of cancer. So this is very important that this is a success for them, because this is his legacy. He was born on May 11th, passed away on July 11th. That's where House of 11 comes in. So this is a huge deal. So I'm really excited to see where they go with this, because I'm a big fan of Impossible Kicks. So if I could see House of 11 and Impossible Kicks together, that would be a massive collaboration.
Oh, that's such a great opportunity for them to collaborate with him. Like, that's so exciting. I cannot wait.
So I want to talk about this matchmaker situation, right? So Darcey has been paired with Mike, who is also not the right guy, and then Georgie, who is not the right guy, and then we go back even further. Jesse, who is not the right guy. And then let's go back here. Tom. So we're just going through this list of not the right guys, right? So Darcey's like, you know what? Maybe it's me. Maybe I need help finding the right guy. So she goes to this world-renowned matchmaker. She's huge, and she has a very high success rate in long-term relationships and marriages. People that she match are staying together, which is really, it's a pretty big deal, because marriages barely last nowadays, and relationships, that you change like your shirt. So if this woman is able to keep people together, that says a lot about her. Now, the actual interview that she had with Michelle, who is the matchmaker, was very personal, right? Like, I felt like it was almost like a personal character attack on Darcey, because she was like, all right, so Darcey, you got that you want to date 25-year-olds to 40, but you're 47. Why wouldn't you date a 53-year-old? And the last two guys you dated were 20 years younger than you, and you sent me filtered pics. And I felt like it was like a personal attack. Sometimes, though, tough love is good. Like sometimes you have to really come at people to get them to understand. But I don't know her tactics, because maybe these are her tactics. This is how she gets through to people. She wants to show you the error of your ways, and then you want to change your ways because you see the truth in what she's saying. Or do you think Michelle's just rude?
I mean, some things were kind of rude. I don't really like that she told her not to put filtered pictures. Who doesn't filter their pictures anymore? Like, everything has a filter. Even your phone has a filter. Like, come on. I mean, I didn't like that. I just feel like she was so judgmental, and she was very cold, and I didn't like that. I feel like she kind of just made Darcey feel bad.
Yeah, I did. I felt like it was personal attacks on her and her everything about it, because Darcey was like, well, I just sent her the best pictures that were in my phone. I didn't put any thought into it. And if you go on a dating app and you look at the photos, you're not going to see an unfiltered photo on a dating app. This is kind of like the generation that we live in now.
Exactly.
Like, people are not going to go out without makeup, and they're not going to go out without a filter on their Instagram or their dating app or whatever. It is what it is. I mean, it is unfair when you go and meet someone in person and you see them and you're like, oh, you don't look as young as I thought you did, or you don't look as well. But that's just kind of the risk that you're taking in the dating world now. Like, we can't really change the fact that an iPhone and Snapchat and Instagram, they're all filtered. We can't change that. So I definitely want to see the tactics she's using. So next week, the matchmaker has Darcey out on the streets of Miami, and she's like catcalling guys. Did you see that? She's like saying how, and she's trying to make sure that Darcey isn't rusty with her approach. So what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good way to get her back on the game, or do you think this is a way to just like make her feel bad for not being on top of the game?
I hate that. I hate that so much. I have like a little bit of social anxiety, so for me, I would freaking die. I would just throw up. I don't know. I would just die. I thought that was crazy. I mean, I don't even want to talk to a guy at a bar, okay? Like, I don't want to talk to anyone, let alone catcall a dude. Like, that's so weird. Like, I didn't like that. I feel like there's different approaches you can take than going out on the streets of Miami catcalling men. It's just gonna make her feel bad. Like, what if they're mean to her?
That's the first thing I thought, because I was like, what if first of all, it's Miami, so like everyone there is stuck up and beautiful. So like people talk to you and hit on you constantly in Miami. I feel like that's just part of it. So like, what if people are just sick of being hit on, and then they're just like rude about it, like, because a lot of times that's how it is. A lot of the beautiful women or whatever, beautiful people, they're just tired of it. They're like, oh my God, I know I'm beautiful. Get to know me. Stop saying I'm hot. Geez.
Exactly.
So I'm going to be waiting to see how this goes, because we know Darcey is going to go on several dates this season. And we have to see if one of these men is the right man for her, because they want to make sure that she is happy and dating before Stacey's wedding, because Stacey needs Darcey to be the maid of honor. And they can't be in this situation where they are in now, where Darcey is triggered by all things wedding. So this matchmaking process is kind of on a time schedule, because they need Darcey ready for this wedding and ready to do this in order for this wedding to happen. And we know the guest of honor at this wedding is Georgie, and Darcey needs to be in a very good headstrong place to face this guy, right? To face him, she needs to be confident, and she needs to have a man on her shoulder, on her arm, so she can walk in and be like, oh, you're here, couldn't care less. All right, guys, that's what happened on this episode of Darcey and Stacey Season 4, Episode 2. I am George Mossey. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms at George Mossey, georgemossey.com, and anywhere you get your podcast. And you have to follow my co-host, Cherona, too. Her links are right here at the bottom. We will talk to all of you guys next week for Darcey and Stacey 3rd episode. Talk to y'all really soon.